Greetings. This video will provide an overview on how to complete the asset form as part of the EOF first year verification process. This is what the asset verification worksheet looks like. You're able to download this worksheet directly from your financial portal, which we will show you how to access at the end of this presentation. Throughout this presentation, we're going to go through each section and provide information and guidance on how to complete correctly. So the first step is to, of course, fill out your name and your RUID number on your form so it can be associated with your financial account. The first section is Section A, which is asking that you self-report the total amount of cash in all bank accounts for both you and your parents. What's important to note here is that you do not include money that's intended for bills. So for example, if your parents have $1,000 currently in their bank account, but that $1,000 is allocated towards their car payment, electric bill, etc., then they would not list the $1,000 here. Same for you as the student. If you have money in your account, but it's going to be paying for some sort of bill, then you would not list it here. The only money that should be listed here is those that are essentially in savings in your accounts. Section B is asking that you list the total market value of all investments for you and your parents. So, for example, if your parents have a money market account balance of $50,000, then they would list $50,000 here. If you, the student, have a stock that's worth $10,000, then you would list $10,000 here. If you do not have any investments, but your parents do, then you would put 0 and your parents would list the amount of their investments. If neither you or your parents have any of these type of investments listed here, then you would check NA. The same for Section A. It's important that all boxes are completed. So if neither you or your parents have any money in their accounts that's in savings, then you would check NA. Or if you have no money in your account allocated towards savings, you would put 0. And if your parents had, say, $1,000, they would put $1,000. It's just important that all sections are completed. Section C tends to be the trickiest section for students, so please read the directions carefully when completing. Question 1 is asking if the home you own and live in is a multifamily dwelling. A multifamily dwelling is considered a duplex, a triplex, etc. What's important here is own. So, if your family does not own their home, regardless of the type of residence that it is, then you would put NA and go to question 4. If your family does own their home, but it is not a multifamily dwelling, then you would put no and skip to question 4. Of course, if your family does own and live in a multifamily dwelling, they would click yes, and you would complete to question 2 and 3. Now, in question 4, it is asking that you and or your parents to list any property that is owned. So, what's important here is to not list your primary home. So, if your parents have a single-family home that they own, they would not list it under their property. They would only list any property that is not their primary home that they own. If you and your family do not own a multifamily dwelling or other properties other than your primary home, then you would put NA in each box. This section, Section D, is asking if your parents or your family owns their own business. If your family does own their own business, then you would check yes and move on to questions 2 and 3. If you answer yes to both questions 2 and 3, then you would skip the chart that's below and move directly to Section E, which we will show in the next slide. If your family owns a business and you answer to no to either question 2 or 3, then you will have to complete the box below as instructed. If your family does not own a business, then you can check no for question 1 and put NA in the boxes below. The last section is asking if you or your family own a farm that you live on and operate. So if your family does own a farm that you live on and operate, you would check yes and complete the box accordingly. If your family does not own a farm, check NA and put NA in the boxes in Section E. The last and most important part is the signatures and dating of the form. It is important that both you and your parents sign and date the form. Forms that have missing signatures or dates will be rejected because they'll be considered incomplete. Now, there's multiple ways that you can sign the form. The PDF form is editable, and so you can fill it out directly on Adobe and sign using the signature feature. You can print the form, sign it, date it, and scan it, either directly up into your financial portal or by email if you cannot scan it into your portal. Or you can print, sign, and date and take a clear photo with your phone and send it through email or your portal. What's important in that is if you have to use the picture option, that the picture is clear because it goes through a scanner, so it has to be able to read the information on the form. So once the form is completed, it's signed and dated by everyone, then the preferred way of submitting it is directly through the EOF upload portal. So you would go to scarletthub.rutgers.edu/EOF upload. When you go to that site, you will see this screen. Up here, you will put your student ID number, and then you click Look Up. When you click that, you're going to see all the documents that you need to complete as part of the EOF process, including the asset worksheet. That is where you can upload the completed asset worksheet. If you have questions during this process about the form, maybe you're struggling with uploading it or how to fill out a section correctly, we highly encourage you contact any one of us listed on the screen, and we would be happy to answer your questions. So you can contact myself, Miss Randy Ferguson from EOF. You can contact Mr. Brandon Keelis from EOF, or Mrs. Lakeisha Villan Cortez from the Office of Financial Aid. We're all happy to help you in this process.